is back, baby. That's what I'm talking about. You know your boy gets excited when we get to talk a little football. We're gonna break down all 16 games. I know there's independent videos that I've already put out, so some of these will be and some of these will be future videos. Starting off tomorrow night, we've got the Cowboys versus the Eagles, where we see this line just moving and moving. The Eagles are favored by 7.5 points. That is right. The Cowboys have to go to Philadelphia on banner night to get embarrassed. That's what the NFL is telling you. They're telling you this is not a one, not a two, not a three, but this is a touchdown game. There ain't no little points here. 7.5. One of the biggest lines of the week. The Cowboys get rid of Parsons. Can they do anything on defense to affect the Philadelphia Eagles? Don't think so. Dak Prescott is not that guy to carry a team. They do finally have dual weapons at the wide receiver position, trying to catch up, but still do not have the wide receiver room that the Eagles have, if we're going to be completely honest. It's just a night and day difference. Next game on the list, Friday Night Football. That is right, Friday Night Football. This ain't high school, but it is going to be a high-scoring game. We have the Chiefs playing the Chargers in Rio, in Brazil, having fun. The Chargers fans might be upset that this isn't a home game, but let's be honest, home field advantage is never their thing for the Chargers. It's not a true statement. It's not a real thing. So I think the Chargers, who need to try hard to fight, probably won't be able to do it. The Chiefs are favored by 3. We do have a pretty big gap between quarterbacks with Mahomes and Herbert. A lot of people, including Joe Montana, seem to hype up Joe Herbert or Justin Herbert, but this is a what have you done for me lately kind of league, and he ain't done jack diddly. We ain't seen nothing. Whole bunch of playoff nothing. Now, let's get into this game. This is one to talk about. We have the Giants playing the Commanders. The Giants have the best quarterback they've had in years. Russell Wilson is not Captain Sava, although, let's be completely honest, he's not that guy. He's going up against Jaden Daniels. Can he avoid a sophomore slump? I don't know. But what he can avoid is losing to the Giants. It's not happening. I don't see it. The Commanders are 6-point favorites at home, so they need to win by a touchdown. That's what the Vegas is telling you. They will win by a touchdown at home. Now, you do get 3 points for being the home team, so they could not cover and just win by 3. But fortunately, that's right, fortunately, they're playing the Giants, so the 6 points feels awfully safe. Now, if I was the Commanders better in betting this game, I would look for an alternative line at like 2.5, just to feel safe, just to feel a little comfortable with what you're doing. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. And look, the Giants are not a great team, but they are an improved team just based off the quarterback position. Now, let's be honest, Russell Wilson, we're looking at a 15 to 20 quarterback. There's not a lot of teams really hounding to get Mr. Let's Ride, all that good junk that Russell Wilson likes to convince you. But I cannot be convinced that the Commanders were somehow, some way going to beat the Giants, or the Giants are going to beat the Commanders. Said that backwards, but you know what it is. Let me know in the comments. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Next game, the game that everybody is looking forward to. Can the Bengals beat the Browns? Can they avoid the early season slump? Look, I think they can avoid it here. There's no way you lose to the Browns, even though the Browns, just like the Giants, have the best quarterback situation they've had in a while with Joe Flacco. It's interesting to see. I personally like to see it slightly different. The Bengals are favored by 5.5 points, and it feels like they have a high-powered enough offense to do it, but can they realistically avoid it? All right, let's break down some comments real quick. We got a bunch of people just typing some letters. Hey, that's pretty crazy. Shout out to Amy. How you doing? Let's get it. Are you an orange Indonesian? Yeah, that's probably right. I'm Indonesian. That sounds about right. It's a pretty safe guess there. Next on the list, we have the Steelers versus the Jets. The Steelers are favored only by 3 in a game that has the quarterback switch. That's right. Justin Fields used to play for the Steelers, and Aaron Rodgers used to play for the Jets. Both looking to revenge and beat the other team and make them feel embarrassed, but I just don't see it truly happening. Like, it's just completely crazy to me to be looking at this as anywhat of a competitive game. I'm surprised it's only a 3-point line. Both of these teams have solid defense. If you watch the video I put out on this is a defensive heavy driven matchup. If you want to see what a great defense looks like, you're going to watch this game because you're going to see the Steelers and the Jets duke it out on defense. They're going to allow both of these quarterbacks to do jack diddly. And if for some reason Aaron Rodgers happens to go down week 1 NFL again, the Steelers are screwed. They're doing the backup fan that doesn't really do anything. It drives you crazy. Nope, wrong. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Nothing's wrong. That's all. What's wrong? Which game? You tell me which game I'm getting wrong, because I'll tell you what, we swing and miss, but not very often. It just don't happen. Let's see. Next on the list, Cardinals versus Saints. This line has just kept moving. I told you to bet it 6.5, and they've made it all the way to 6.5 point favorites for the Cardinals. The Saints are the trashiest team in the NFL. That's right. You want to see what a dumpster fire looks like? Take a look at the New Orleans Saints. It is impressive how terrible they can actually be. You don't see this very often, but it happens. They're starting Spencer Rattler. What are you supposed to do with this as a Saints fan? How are you supposed to cope with this? I just don't get it. You ready for some football? Because we have the Buccaneers playing the Falcons in Atlanta. Shout it off. Let's take a quick look at the quarterback matchup. We got Baker Mayfield versus Penix Jr. Both pretty even kind of level quarterbacks, but Baker Mayfield is the superior quarterback. Everything about this matchup points to the Buccaneers. Vegas only has them as 1.5 point favorites on the road. So what they're really telling you is the Buccaneers should win by 3.5. That's right. Look for an alternative line for that 2.5. Get the extra juice. Say the Buccaneers are winning by at least a field goal. And honestly, I'd feel very comfortable with a 5.5 spread. Give them 5.5 points. I think they win by at least 2 field goals. Let me know in the comments, does the Buccaneers just roll over everybody in the NFC South? Because it sure looks like it. It sure looks like there won't be a whole lot of competition here, and I just see it. Next game on the list, the surprise underdogs. Surprise underdogs for the Miami Dolphins going to play the Colts, who are one of these bottom tier teams. Look, look around them. They're not even starting Anthony Richardson. It's just trash. Like there's nothing to hopeful to even talk about here. I was blown away seeing Vegas put 1.5 in front of the Colts. This feels like a trap game. I'm actually going to avoid betting it just because of this. The Colts love to play upset football, and I bet you there's a lot of people betting heavy on Miami. We'll take a look at it Sunday morning, see what the betting lines are, see who's betting heavy, because sometimes I like to just go against the crowd. Sometimes things get evened out on the long end, and it becomes very unexpected. Football is back, and we're talking Raiders versus Patriots in New England. This is another surprise underdog. They have the Raiders 3-point dogs against the Patriots. Now, with a home team getting 3 points, this is basically Vegas telling you it's a coin flip game. What can Geno Smith do with the quarterback situation here? But let's be honest, I've never been high on Geno Smith. I absolutely hate the Raiders. And I could not tell you a single way that they lose this game. I want to tell you every reason the Patriots will win, right? I want to be like Mike Vrabel, this, that, all these other things that are going to create a formula in which the Patriots win, but I can't do it. I can't get there. I just can't do it. I want to hate the Raiders. I hate the Raiders, but I'll still pick them to win this game because they should not be dogs on the road. Let's be completely honest. It doesn't make sense. Let me know in the comments, who do you think wins? Raiders or Patriots? Can the Raiders pull up the upset? Upset the Patriots? Oh, it's crazy words. Next on the list, we have the Panthers playing the Jaguars in Jacksonville, 3.5-point favorites for the Jags. We haven't really seen Trevor Lawrence ball out in a long time, and I'm actually picking the Panthers for this. Now, I really don't know why, because it sure seems like the Panthers are dead set on getting rid of talent around them, refuse to build a team around Bryce Young, but I'm higher on Bryce Young at this point than I am at Trevor Lawrence. And if you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have told you you're delusional. I'd have said I was crazy. And I would have said there's no way freaking possible. Like, it just doesn't happen. And yet here we are looking at 3.5-point favorites for the Jags for no reason. For no reason. Until Trevor Lawrence can come back and ball out like we've seen him his rookie year, there's no reason to pick him. There's no reason to pick the Jags. The Jags will have a disappointing season, and it's sad to talk about. It's sad that the folks in Duval County will be sitting here watching Carolina Panthers win. It's disrespectful. But this is an NFC South versus an AFC South matchup, and I want you to let me know in the comments who you think wins. Can the Panthers pull off the upset? Because I sure think they do. Sure do. Might be the game I get wrong this week, though. Who knows? Next on the list, we have the Titans versus the Broncos with the biggest, the most disrespectful spread of the week. Broncos 8.5-point favorites at home, and it's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing, because it feels right. Even at 8.5 points, it feels right. Look, Cam Ward's got a lot to show off here. Can he be, he's the only quarterback that was drafted that's worth talking about. But it'll be interesting to see if it's really worth talking about. Because he's going against, one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL versus the Broncos. Look, I think Bo Nix is going to regress this year, but I don't think the Titans are going to be the team that exposes that. Now, do they cover 8.5 points? I don't know. Look, that's asking a lot. You're saying that the Broncos will win by at least 9. Look for an alternative line in like 6.5. Okay, let's call it a 1 touchdown game. You know, you're gonna not win as much money if you were gonna take the spread at 8.5, but I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Ooh, upset football is on the menu today. We have the Niners playing the Seahawks in Seattle. Niners open up with 2.5 point favorites, and this blows my mind. Okay, you're going to point to Brock Purdy, who's probably a pretty similar quarterback. Like, this isn't some large gap, and I just don't see it. The 49ers don't have a wide receiver squad right now. They're all injured. They're all banged up. Have you heard of Sky Moore, the former Kansas City Chief? He's going to be playing in this game. Going to be one of the better wide receivers on the Niners. A guy that could not stay on the roster for the Chiefs is going to be one of the leading wide receivers for the 49ers. Look, I'm all for the run game, but you're really going to have to run the ball for the 49ers. And gosh forbid if you got to play catch up. You think this is going to be one of Brock Purdy's biggest challenges, just looking at the wide receivers that are healthy around him. Like, it just doesn't come to any kind of sense here. Lions versus Packers. Packers got swept last year and somehow, some way come into this game 2.5 point favorites. They got Michael Parsons. That's nice. The Lions got a healthy team. Even nicer. Look, the biggest question marks in this game is going to be about the Lions coordinators, right? They got a whole change of pace, whole change of offense. But to me, that just suggests it's harder to predict what they're going to do. It's harder to scout this team. Look, I've been high on Dan Campbell since he became the head coach of the Lions, and he's done nothing but prove me right. I can tell by how he's operating that locker room that these are the type of players that will want to run through a brick wall for the Lions. And don't forget, I have the Lions Chiefs Super Bowl. So, game 1, week 1, time to win a ball game, Lions. Don't disappoint me, Detroit fans. Let me know how you're doing. Football in LA. That's right. We've got the Texans versus the Rams. Rams 3-point favorites at home, and this has upset written all over it. That's right. The Houston Texans are being disrespected here. I mean, if you look at the quarterback situation, is Matthew Stafford going to go into this season another year older, just as good as he was last year or the year before that? I don't know. But I feel more confident in C.J. Stroud than I do at Matthew Stafford at this point in their career. Okay, Matthew Stafford's peak is higher than C.J. Stroud's currently, but C.J. Stroud is very much like a young Matthew Stafford in a lot of ways. On a team that has, historically struggled to win and yet has brought success. The Texans have a better offense. They have I honestly think they have a better defense too. What points to the Rams being the better team? Now, I don't like having to travel. There's a reason the home team gets a few extra points. And being in LA doesn't really give you that home field advantage you're looking for the Rams. Now, it's not as bad as the Chargers situation, but do not be surprised if we see more Texans fans in the stadiums than we do the Rams fans. It's just plain and simple. I really hope we can see it. I hope I can see the Texans pull off that money line upset. Let's see it. Let's go Texans. Let's get it. Sunday Night Football. We've got the Ravens playing the Bills. Ravens 1.5-point favorites. The Ravens continuously beat the Bills over and over again. And I know what you're going to say. Well, what about the playoffs? The Bills beat the Ravens because the Ravens beat themselves. Look at them turnovers. Look at the drop passes. The Bills didn't just outright beat the Ravens. The Ravens gave them that game. They're going to look for a rematch. Look for Mark Andrews to redeem himself. I really like what Baltimore's going to do in this game. And shout out for the Bills. I'm going to just go the money line, but I'll probably just stay away from this game because if there's one game that's a coin flip on this whole weekend, it will be the Ravens versus the Bills. In the last game, Monday night, we've got Monday Night Football. That's right, baby. We got the Vikings playing the Bears, opening up as 1.5-point favorites to beat the Bears for the Vikings. And we get to see a little J.J. McCarthy. Can he outperform Caleb Williams? I think so. I truly do, especially when you got Jay Jets sitting there on the sideline. And in case you didn't hear, the Vikings have added a couple mil cheerleaders on their team. And they will not be allowed at this game because people are afraid that there will be too much of a distraction for Caleb Williams. That's right. Banned from the Chicago Stadium to prevent Caleb Williams and his painted fingernails from being distracted. Look, I'm not going to hide it. The Vikings are going to win this game. And it'll be an exciting kickoff to see what J.J. McCarthy can do in an NFC North matchup. Let me know in the comments who you've got winning, and I appreciate you checking us out. All right, folks, that does about the show today. I hope y'all enjoyed. And don't forget to do all that like and subscribe malarkey. Well, if I can even end the stream. Deuces.